Welcome to 5 Good Minutes. You're listening to today's inspirational message on the book of Mark with David Bowens.
So Mark chapter 16, verses 9 through 20, as we continue in the series, are actually believed to have been added later than the original text. So what that means is the book of Mark ended at verse 8 in the original text, which ends, trembling and bewildered, the women went out and fled from the tomb. They said nothing to anyone because they were afraid. But what we know in accordance to the other gospels is that's obviously not where that ended as it related to Jesus rising from the tomb. And so in order to complete, I think, what they did, and it's believed what they did is in order to complete the story of the resurrection of Christ, it seems as if they echoed some of the other gospels in order to complete it, so it didn't just end there with them being afraid and not saying anything, realizing that so much more had happened after the resurrection of Christ. And when you compare it and parallel it to the other gospels, then you can see that it is quite accurate according to the other eyewitness accounts of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And because of that, I believe we can hold it to be the true word of God still. So as we continue, we will be reading Mark chapter 16, verses 9 through 13, which reads, "When Jesus rose early on the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had driven 7 demons. She went and told those who had been with him and who were mourning and weeping. And when they heard that Jesus was alive and she had seen him, they did not believe it. Afterward, Jesus appeared in a different form to 2 of them while they were walking in the country. These returned and reported it to the rest, but they did not believe them either." This is such an interesting part of the text, because now you have eyewitnesses coming back to the other disciples who are currently in mourning and are weeping and are hurting for the loss of the life of Jesus in their experience on the earth. And even though he told them, I know he specifically told the 12, I'm not sure how many other people knew. I would assume probably some of the women who were among them, helping them with the resources and things, probably knew some of the stuff. But I know for sure the 12 absolutely knew and had heard from Jesus himself saying that he would die and rise again. And because of this, you would think that they would be waiting for his return. But in the style of true humanity, when you see something happen that you maybe have not ever seen before, while Jesus did raise Lazarus from the dead, I don't know that they felt like Jesus could rise from the dead himself after having been dead. That I don't know if that they understood that that was actually possible or even believed to that extent. I mean, it's clearly proven that they did not believe to that extent, because they went into hiding and were weeping and mourning and sad because they did not understand what needed to fully happen and the way it played out. And so they found themselves in fear and they found themselves in mourning and weeping. And let's be real, man. Many of us, no matter what we may know, no matter what somebody may say to us about, hey, this is good for you, this will help you, this will play out in your favor as it plays out, but it's going to hurt at first. It's not going to feel good at first. Tell any child that these needles that they have to get for the vaccinations or this medicine that they have to take that doesn't taste good, that is good for them, or it's going to help them, and you'll see an immediate visceral response because they don't want to take the nasty medicine. They don't want to take the needle that might be for their good, that may have medicine that they need. They don't. So when we know this, there are adults who are still afraid of needles to this day, understanding that there is a need for the medicine, need for the help to help them heal or recover. Yet, and still, we don't want to feel the pain. And because the people, I know, I said this one time a long time ago in a message that I taught, man, pain is incredibly selfish. And so when they lost Jesus, they were in pain. And because of that, I don't think they remembered what Jesus said. I don't think they were reminded of the fact that he was going to rise again. All they saw and felt was the pain of the loss of their leader, of their loved one, of the Holy One, Jesus Christ. And they were in great pain, so much so that they were lacking faith. And even those who had come and said, hey, we saw him, he's back. And yet they did not believe. Interestingly enough, I think we are all very much so like that. When pain happens, when hardship comes, sometimes it's really hard to see our way out. But we have to learn to trust in, I believe, the word of God and what he has said. And when we do that, we see the outcome that he has called for us. And it doesn't always look like what we hope for, but it is always for our good.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.